People of the world, reap the harvest. We're here a little late today. It's been a wild, wild day, but we are here reporting for duty. What's up, Matty Matt? Matt's got to get his hair cut today.
What's up, baby boy?
But we're just checking in to inspire the world. It's Friday, live on live, and we're just bringing you guys the heat because that's what we do. I got this little webcam out of the closet today because we're taking photos and all kinds of crazy stuff here, but we're also reaping the harvest.
Reaping the harvest. I love it. I love it. Yeah. The topic today, man, is calendar. Because freaking I wasn't in control of my calendar today. And
neither was I.
Man, how important is your calendar? It's insane, man. How, like, I was thinking so growth opportunities. I just had a lunch with a business partner, right? And we sat down today, and I wanted to talk about two things. I wanted to talk about areas of growth, which is more classified as weaknesses, and then strengths. And so what I did was I let him know I want to start off. Hey, what are areas that I wanted to improve in first? And so he documented. He sat there and jotted some stuff down. And I just I said one of the things I said was getting more in control of between the sidelines, and how can I, when I'm in the game, right, be more in control of that? Because I systematize everything outside. So I systematize very well, like how I wake up in the morning, what I do, how I get the girls off to school, and then I come back. And I have on my phone every day from 9 to 10 p.m. But this is something I 100% can do a lot better at. 9 to 10 p.m. I call it Ziggy time, right? And this Ziggy time is supposed to be is proactive planning for the following day, and so that I can be in control of anything in between the X and the O's, right? When I'm in the game, I'm in the game, right? And that's typically between.
Well, and the other thing is that we're trying to do more. We're trying to add more to our plate. We're trying to grow. It's not like if we were just sitting around doing the same thing we were doing a month or two ago, it wouldn't have been really a big deal for us to stream at 11. But we were slammed. I'm out at we're shooting photos and stuff, doing this like clothing apparel launch thing. And I'm like, it's like 10:15, and I'm like, dude, there's no way I'm going to be back at 11.
You let me know in advance. That's also called
advance before I didn't show up. But,
right, I would have been like, "What the heck, bro? You're texting me at 11:58 Eastern Standard Time."
I wouldn't have done that, right?
But
once I knew it wasn't going to click, I'm like, dude, you better at least let him know, because then if you're in the middle of something, it's not like we can't do it later. It's just not going to work at that time.
For sure.
But again, when you're trying to fill your calendar and stack up projects and add, I mean, you have to do more. What was it? Brad Lee was speaking at the 10X event that I played, and he was like, you got two options when you're growing your business. You're like a solopreneur and you're starting to systematize and stuff like that. You can either do more or you can get better.
You can do more
or get better. I choose to do both. I try to get better at the stuff, at all different kinds of marketing, and I try to do more. Because eventually, if we want to grow, if you want to build out all your stuff, you have to have a management company for those apartments. You have to have all these different things in place. So you have to get better at managing the business. It's the same way.
100%.
But you have to do more first to get that stuff to happen.
Yeah. No,
that's the same amount of work. Can't do the same amount of work and expect more results. It doesn't work like that.
It does not work like that. I was thinking the other day, I love how you just said that, because we do have an asset management company, right? Like, I have an asset manager. I focus on him. We have meetings every Tuesday and Friday. We're going through, we're making sure that the collections are coming in. And that's something I take a look at on a weekly basis. And then I also have my assistant there that pretty much handles all those activities. She's part of the asset management team. And she's going through and making sure our P&L is in order and some other things are answered, and we're keeping the ball moving downfield. However, I have 3 other businesses, right? So I'm thinking in terms of like, all right, my 3 other businesses, right? This is obviously one of them, my marketing company. So one of my marketing companies is like, we're going to be starting new things, right? We're going to be starting a mastermind. We're going to be starting all like things that we have a vision for in this marketing lag.
Right.
And like who's answering the emails? I'm answering them. Well, I don't have time to answer the emails all the time. And so how do I do that, right? How do I rely on somebody else? So I just hired somebody today that that's going to be going out to the field for me, which I usually in the wholesaling front, I typically am not going out to the field. And I would encourage everyone, do not be going out to the field. Sometimes I will, depending on the size of the deal. And if I want to make sure it gets to the finish line because it's a pretty good size deal, I might be going out there to facilitate that. But we just hired on somebody today to facilitate the conversation and maybe negotiate some deals so that I don't have to be there, right? They're taking pictures, they're putting the lockbox on the door, they're doing those things. I'm not going to be going out there and doing those. Robust enough deal, I might be going out there taking a few pictures and doing those. Like I'm not big enough where that isn't worth my time, but it's got to be worth my time, right?
Right.
And so we just hired somebody on today to go out there and do that for us. Like I said, I was in a pinch the other day, and I sent somebody out, and I'm like, hey, I'm going to give you a large chunk of change to go do this to facilitate that. So I did that, and so it's facilitation of those things. But then you're also looking at, okay, what the small like granular emails. We're looking for a transaction coordinator that really can facilitate the follow-up and all the title transactions, because we're getting a little bit bigger on the wholesaling front and doing a little bit more active deals on a month-to-month basis. It's like, okay, we need the facilitator in that, right? It's taking a little bit too much of our time to get that to the finish line. So I realized, hey, I might be taking on a little bit too much. How can I hand that off to somebody else? So I put it's crazy because I've had like 25 applications.
I see him coming in on the page.
Dude, nonstop.
For the executive assistant or whatever it is?
Executive assistant role.
Oh, yeah, dude. Everybody wants that job. You guys, hey, good work being go-getters applying to the page. But I'm going to just be honest. There is some steep competition for that gig.
So anyways,
you guys are really going to have to show up strong.
There are some, it's strong right there. So anyways, that's just one of those things where how you can create capacity. And I think we talked about that, but that allows me then to have like a stronger calendar, because then I can focus my dollars on things that are going to move the needle forward. So those are, dude, that was going through my head. I'm like, yeah, we do need to focus on that. We do need to more and do better. Right. But like, I understand where Brad's coming from. It's like, how you do, like where you're coming from too, though. How do you do more and do better at the same time?
That's what we talked about when I was on a show. I'm like, okay, well, yeah, I remember you said you can either do more or get better in your speech. I'm doing both, because if I'm doing more and I'm getting better, that's what's going to bring in more business for me to build a whole, another side, a clone myself pretty much. So I can train people to do all these tasks. But if I'm not going out and getting better and showing what I'm capable of, those people, the jobs to fill those seats aren't going to be there.
No,
you can't build a company with no sales. You can't build a company without 10 different other things happening at the same time. So, while he's always like, it's really easy, guys, success is easy. It's easy to talk about on the microphone.
It's easy. It's also easy to forget, right, where you came from.
It is.
Oh, you forgot, like you're in your garage hustling, you're in, like, where did Apple and Microsoft, where did they start out? Well, Microsoft.
Yeah, we're out there taking photos for this apparel launch. We have to take all the photos on our own. It's not like we don't have some like fancy photographer doing all this stuff for us.
Hey,
we're out doing it on our own. That's why I got the webcam today. I busted the webcam out of the closet.
You're a fancy photographer, bro.
I don't know about that. But we got to do the work to show people what the thing is. It's the same thing with this. We have to show people what we're capable of so that they'll join our group, so that we can start educating people from this page. There's a lot. Yep. We've given a ton of free value out as far as real estate and personal development. And so, I mean, that's what it takes. You have to show people what you're capable of first before you can ask for anything in return. So it all goes hand in hand. It's a lot of work. And for a long time, you're going to do a lot of work and make no money.
But you know what? I know this is what I appreciate about you. Like, you can do one of two things. That's massive, right? And I want to build onto those a little bit more. You can either do more or do better, right? But like, let's say do more. Let's say you're just in the early stages of everything, right? I've accelerated a little bit in my business. So I wouldn't call myself at like, hey, what do I do now? What do I do just to get off the ground as an entrepreneur? Like, what do I do? I'm not at that stage, but like, I also don't want to forget where I came from.
Right.
So the thing is, it's one word. It's one word. It's action, right? That's all it is. Like, what is action? What is that one relationship you can look at today and say, hey, that's a relationship where I can add value into that person and that person can add value into me. It's 100% action. You are never going to go anywhere without action. Like, totally you are never, you don't put that 1 foot in step of the, 1 foot in front of the other just to create that momentum, because life's all based on momentum, right? Yeah. There's everything happens for a reason. And so when you get out of bed in the morning, you take that first step, right? Well, the next day is that second step and that third step and that fourth step. And then you get a year down the road, that's 365 steps. And you're like, wow, I came a long way.
Yeah, it's true. And I think sometimes people focus too much on, getting their mind right and reading all the right books and taking all the right courses, but they don't do enough. Having a great mindset's important, but if you're constantly taking action and constantly filling up your schedule and producing at a high level, the mindset's going to follow your activity anyway.
The mindset will.
The mind will adapt to you physically pushing the mind.
Yeah.
So sitting around and being like, oh man, I just got to get my mindset right, bro. It's like, that's great. But if you don't do anything, you can have the best mindset in the world. And sitting on a chair with a great mindset isn't going to get you the results.
No.
Joe Montana doesn't just sit in the corner with a great mindset and win the Super Bowl.
I met him. I met Joey.
I know you. I forgot. Yeah.
I met Joey Montana. He's a cool dude. But
yeah, man, I think we're both trying to fill our schedule. We're trying to align ourselves with the right people. That's why we met in the first place. We're taking chances and opportunities and taking time away from family and relaxation and weekends off and stuff like that, and spending these times adapting to the market, pushing and getting around the right people and filling up our schedule. I mean, that's the only way it works.
Yeah. Yeah,
it is.
Yeah,
and any of those guys like the Brad Lees or the Ed Milettes or the Grant Cardones or the John Maxwells or whoever it is that's at the top of the business, mentorship guru game, dude, those guys put in a lot of time and a lot of risk.
I'm in a ton of risk. You just got to put in the time. You got to start filling up the schedule. You got to start filling up that schedule. And then what it could be is 15 minutes of reading. It could be setting up, just making a few extra phone calls with guys or gals. I love setting up meetings with smart women that are just like phenomenal, that are 15, 20 years.
Their brain functions differently than guys. They have a different perspective.
It is insane the amount of value you can get listening to a woman. It's like, it's insane. Just like some of the
frequency.
Dude, that's actually a level up. That's like a niche. Like as a man, you can take to say, hey, I'm going to listen to this woman's podcast and really get some insight out of this, because the women get like the number one thing that I think that you're able to level up in a certain way to build on some a little bit of acuity that a man might just not be blessed with naturally. And some men are, some men aren't. But as a level of aptitude that they can understand and they can just compensate for a level of like the emotional perspective with organization. So organization just being so key, and blending those two things together, right? They are, I think true women at their core are integrators, and they also have a visual piece, which that's why the limiting factor, dude. I'm a feminist at heart, dude. I think we've been holding women back for way too long.
They say that women in like a CFO position, like the companies with a female in a CFO position are making more money at whatever percent compared
CEO,
to
CFO,
male-run companies, CFOs, chief financial officers. Yeah. So like Brittany Hasenberger, I don't know how to pronounce her last name, but Brittany from Carlos's company, like he constantly says if she wasn't in charge of the finances, they wouldn't make as much money.
Yeah.
She crushes. I've watched her speak on stage. She knows her stuff.
I mean,
I couldn't do that.
My accountant's a woman, extremely detailed, but at the same time, it's not even just that, man. I think it's the kind of
left system. It's a system kind of thing.
Well, not even just the system. So what I'm trying to, and maybe I'm not articulating the right way. I think it's, the left and right brain, right? The creative piece, because, are very, very creative, but then they have a level of organization, right? The integration.
Well, that's why I was bringing it back to a schedule. It's just like they're able to break it down real hard.
Yeah. Yeah, it's anyways, my wife's a lot like that.
I was about to say that's why we got good wives in our lives too.
I mean, she's I was trying to get her on the show, man. Trying to bring it up, but like I think hey, if one thing out of today, right? It's action. What does that action look like? It's filling up your calendar.
Right.
And if it's just filling up your calendar with like nonsense for a couple of days just to figure it out, to get that momentum going, it's all about momentum. Create that trickling effect, right? Every day sometimes I look back and I'm like, man, I didn't do anything today. I mean, I did a lot, but it was a freaking bunch of nonsense. Like I'm on this podcast right now, and I wouldn't call this nonsense. But I love talking on this podcast. I love breathing in value in any way that I can. But at the same time, it's just like I want to be more organized in my approach, and that's when you do better, right? So the first piece, though, is create that traction, create that momentum. Business. That's why I started my business, and with the verb like that traction, start gaining traction. Traction is action, right? And fill up that schedule with like time. Pat and I have done that both. I think that's how we started our organizations, is like Pat started calling me 60, 70 times a day. And then I was like, dude, I probably should be a client, and the hustle was there. So the reality is, though,
but you post way more online now.
It's insane
because
dude.
You started holding yourself accountable for it. You never held yourself accountable for it before.
No way.
At all.
I wouldn't be doing this without you. So I mean, it's the reality of the accountability.
The push-ups are fun to follow too.
Yeah.
He's done like 12 push-up challenges. Don't call me because I'm never gonna do it. I'll just act like I never saw the tag.
Anyways, hey, if you're listening in, please hop in that with me. Hashtag 50 for Floyd. We're trying to create generational change. Please hashtag that. Let's start that as a trend. I think it creates a lot of awareness, and awareness is number one. Today, though, we're talking about filling up your calendar. What is filling up your calendar? If it's nonsense, it's nonsense, but create that vision, right? Have that idea. What are you trying to move forward with, right? Mine is a real estate vehicle, is how I'm utilizing it. What am I trying to do? What's my value add? Where am I trying to build my bottom line? My bottom line is really being a hero at home. So I want to work as hard, but be a hero at home. So for you, what does that traction look like? What does that momentum look like? Think 5, 10, 15, 20 years out. Reverse engineer that and create traction. Fill up your calendar with momentum that's going to take you there. So that's what I got for today. I got to go.
I need to get a haircut too, man. This thing's getting a little raggedy. Rock on. Man. All right. I'll see you Monday, buddy. Thanks. Appreciate the patience today. It was a wild day.
All right.
Later, guys.
Follow me at Reap the Harvest. We out.